Hey everyone, welcome to vlog number 15. It's crazy, there's so many of these already. But for those of you out watching, thanks for your support and everything. So, this one is going to be about Sapporo. I went to Sapporo for maybe a few days in February during this thing called Yuki Matsuri, which means snow festival. And I have a lot of videos of those, so you can check them out. First thing, though, which happened recently, this past weekend, thank you to everyone that came out and supported me and Jess and Simon for Hashima Taiko's concert. That was super, super fun just to be out there and perform, and it was great. There was one song that we played called Hibiki that had like 45 to 50 drums on stage, and like a picture of that song actually ended up in the newspaper, which is really cool. So I was in the newspaper, yay, and apparently I was on cable sometime too. I'll have to see if I can get my hands on that footage. But anyways, so thank you for everyone that came out for that. It was really great to see all of you, and just to have your support in Japan means a lot to me. So thank you. Anyways, back to Sapporo. So first and foremost, it was cold. It was so cold. In California, it doesn't snow, right? Like, or at least in my part of California, it doesn't really snow. So I was sort of I guess I was a little prepared. Like my parents sent me my snow gear, like jackets, snow pants, and everything like that. So it was fine. And but like wow, I was just like hit, and there was snow everywhere, like so. Crazy, right? This like just it's just like everywhere something I haven't really seen, being in California. So that was quite a thing. First and foremost, shout out to Kaylani and her friends, Sydney and the Awaji Jets, and the Gifu people that I saw in Sapporo. You all made my time there super great. And let's see, I guess getting right to it. Yuki Matsuri Snow Festival was the thing to see, and there are some vids of that I have here. Really they just have like these snow statues and a whole bunch of food at this Yuki Matsuri, and they're really, really big sculptures. And it's like, how do they make these things? And hold on, I'm getting a call, so 1 second. Sorry about that, got a call, but we'll continue right along. So, Yuki Matsuri was great. It was just all these giant statues, and just so fun to be there and to see them, and just wondering how they made such really cool and detailed structures. And you'll see videos of that soon. I also really like I mentioned before, I also really like the food there. We had kebabs, buns filled with scallops and stuff. It was like an international foodie type thing, which is great. It reminds me of my Yelp days almost, because they had all these different kinds of foods. But definitely had that. And then also one more thing that I'll include in the videos was we went to Otaru, Otaru, and Otaru also had like a little snow area, almost a little snow festival itself. And I like this one because it wasn't like a whole bunch of statues per se. It was like a lot of structures, like snow structures with candles inside, and so it was really pretty, just a nice kind of like glow, a warm glow, and there are like hundreds of snow lanterns with these candles, and I'll show you some videos of those too. So here we have Yuki Matsuri and the snow festival in Otaru.
お配りしております。残りわずかとなってはおりますが、皆さん走らずに一歩ずつ前へお進みください。 歩きながらのおタバコ、喫煙所以外でのおタバコはご遠慮ください。なお、喫煙所は
はい。
いや、意外と前に言ったかもしれないねって振り向いたらすぐ言う。
Yeah, overall, just really, really great to be there. Would definitely recommend going there during this time just to kind of like be there and experience being in the snow with all these cool things to see and with friends as well. It was really great. What else did we do in Sapporo? We went to the Sapporo beer garden, of course. You've all heard of Sapporo beer, I'm sure. One of my personal faves. We went to the Sapporo beer garden, had tabe hodai, which is all you can eat, as all you can eat lamb. I don't know if I ever want to have lamb again because it was so much lamb that we ate there. We also went to the beer museum and had like a sampler of Sapporo, which is really cool. Got to try like Sapporo Classic and like 2 other brands of Sapporo. It was great. And on one of my last nights, we went to the Kirin Beer Garden, and there we had all-you-can-eat Korean pork with a side of crab. Crab wasn't all-you-can-eat though, but it was still really good because Sapporo is known for its crab. And we also had nomi hodai. Nomi hodai means all-you-can-drink. So we had all-you-can-eat and all-you-can-drink at the Kirin Beer Garden, and that was also really great to try all the different Kirin beers and stuff like that. So a lot of drinking and eating in Sapporo. One of my favorite days, though, actually, was going to the zoo, and this I did solo because I couldn't really go snowboarding or skiing because I kind of hurt my back a little bit. But so I went to the zoo solo, and it was great because there were all these active animals that you wouldn't expect to be active, like the polar bears, the polar bear cubs, snow leopards, tigers, and also the wolves, which were just beautiful. So I have just a couple videos of that, as well as me talking in the snow that I meant to post earlier, but it's not showing up until now, so you can take a look at that. It's totally snowing here at Maruyama Zoo, and I'm getting pelted. Pelted, is that even a word? Here, see? I'm getting pelted. I'm getting pelted right now by the snow. And the monkeys are too. Hey everyone, greetings from Sapporo. It's pretty cold, as you can see. It's like snowing. It's been snowing for a while. I'm in my snow gear by myself, just went to the zoo, which was awesome. Polar bears and tigers and like snow leopards and stuff was really cool. But it's really cold. Snowing, like I mentioned. Here you can take a look at what I'm walking in right now. So much snow just everywhere, which is really cool. So far, Sapporo has been really fun. Props to Keilani and her friendsies for letting me stay. Today's my last day in Sapporo, actually. Heading back on a long trip tomorrow. So, yeah, I had a bunch of good fun. Some pictures will be up on the Facebooks, and I would definitely recommend coming to Sapporo, but making sure you're prepared for the cold, because that's the thing that you should do. Alright? Yeah, that's oh man, definitely something to keep note of. It's cold, be prepared, like I mentioned earlier. So, last thing I want to say is that we went clubbing, which was really fun. But it's also kind of dangerous because, well, for one, I kind of lost my coin purse, which is a little too bad for that. But so the next day after clubbing, I had a flight that left the airport probably around 8 or so, like 8 a.m., somewhere around there. And to get there, I would have needed to get up at 5 o'clock and like leave the house by 6 to make my way over to be there like in time, like an hour ahead of time. So I set my alarm, and I set my alarm for 5 o'clock, and we actually returned back to Keilani's place from clubbing around 4:30. So so I tried to get like a little bit of sleep in, and the next day I woke up, looked at my clock, and it was like 6:30 or 7 or something. I think it was like past 7. And I was just like, oh no, this is not good. I'm not gonna make my flight. So I was just rushing out of Keilani's place, and oh my god, I was so stressed out. I called JL, and I was just like, oh, it doesn't look like I'm gonna make my flight. When's the next one that you can book? And luckily they had another flight. It was later on that day, probably like 11:45 a.m. And so I was like, oh, okay, just book that one for me, because there's no way I can make it to the 8:31 or whatever the flight was. And they're like, okay. And I was like, oh, Ikura desu ka? How much does it cost? And she said something to the equivalent of $300, $350. And I was like, oh, well, it's, a lot of people are probably flying out. Like, just go ahead and book me for that. And so I was like, all right. Like, on my way over, I make it to the airport probably like right as my 8:30 plane is leaving. And I go up to the counter with all my bags and probably look really bad because I just woken up, I didn't even brush my teeth, I didn't take a shower. So I'm just like, oh, like I hand over my slip with a barcode because it has my information. They say like, oh, like this is, this is not valid. This is like an old ticket. And I was like, yeah, I booked another one, but I just thought, here you could take it. And so the attendant, or the lady at the desk leaves. She comes back, and I'm all sad and stuff because I have to pay like a whole bunch of money, and she says, usually you cannot change your flight, but this time we will allow it. And I was like straight up gonna cry. Like I was so relieved that I didn't have to pay so much money, and they just switched my ticket over. And really, you cannot do that with the ticket that I bought, but I didn't have to pay, and it was so nice. And I slept at the airport until my plane was about to leave, and made my way back. But that was like super stressful, and I'm really appreciative of that lady at the desk at JL. JL has my business, so because they're super super nice about that. Yay for customer service in Japan, which is great. Whew. Yes, so there's my little story about what I learned. Don't, if you're gonna go clubbing, make sure you can wake up, or just don't book such an early flight. Hey. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed the videos, and yeah, thanks again for watching. The next vlog will probably be about actual time in Gifu. So yeah, until then, take care, guys.